Welcome to episode number 38 of Life Without Cravings. Today I want to talk to all of you who are wondering what the F happened. How is it possible that I just keep eating? How is it that I can't stop eating? What's going on there? If that's you and you don't know what the F is happening, it's called lower brain or the reptilian brain. It has many names. I call him the toddler brain. You probably heard me say that before. And now the toddler brain has a name. His name is Jeremy. Thanks to Steph in my Facebook group, her daughter Lola heard about it and she drew me a picture and she named him. So that picture is on the thumbnail for the YouTube video if you haven't seen it. If you're listening to the podcast version, you can just go to YouTube and have a look at it. I love it. I'm going to use it and I'm going to keep calling him Jeremy. And I might have to get a Jeremy t-shirt as well. Anyhow, the toddler brain. It is the part of the brain that just reacts. And that part of the brain, all it wants to do is to protect you and do whatever it can do to help you survive for as long as possible. It thinks that everything is about life or death. And that everything is very, very important, that it's done the way that the toddler brain wants it done. And it likes comfort, it likes safety, and it loves you fiercely. Don't forget that. That part of the brain is only there to protect you. It's never ever to do anything that isn't beneficial to you. It loves you so much that it will try to protect you from everything that feels a little bit uncomfortable, because uncomfortable can mean that there is danger. Danger means that death might be near. And it will try to get you to engage in everything that involves instant gratification, because anything that feels good is going to be good for you. That's how the toddler brain is interpreting the world. Jeremy is the reason for why you behave like a dick and eat against your own will. That is the reason. So think about it like this. The toddler brain means well, but it just lacks that understanding of your world or of the world. It's very, very naive. It only sees things in black and white. It doesn't want to eat in moderation, because eating more means more pleasure, and more pleasure is good. That's as simple as it gets. The toddler brain is not capable of thinking about anything more complex than that. He just doesn't want you to feel uncomfortable. Toddlers who are uncomfortable, they cry because they want that comfort. They want to be comforted. So Jeremy will do the same thing. He will cry to get you to eat that ice cream. And if you don't listen, he will get louder and louder, and eventually he will be down on the floor, kicking and screaming, and you will just start telling yourself that my cravings are just too strong. I couldn't resist them. And so I went and I ate ice cream. That's when Jeremy is on the floor, kicking and screaming. That's all that is happening. Nothing wrong with you. Just that you're like, oh, I can't listen to him anymore. I just need to go and eat. And Jeremy won. You have just let your toddler brain control you. And it's fine. Everyone does that. If this was a real toddler screaming for chocolate at the supermarket, and you said, no, we're not going to have any chocolate, that toddler might go and have a full-blown tantrum. Start kicking and screaming, refusing to walk, just throw themselves on the floor and just making a scene. Anything to get you to react and get that chocolate. And then you're like, oh, okay then. If you just walk, I'll get you that bloody chocolate. They're going to be like, yes, I did it. I know how to control my parents. Perfect. What do you think is going to happen the next time you go shopping? You have just taught this toddler that if you scream and cry enough and make enough problems for me, I'm going to give you what you want. Not the best strategy. And you're doing the same thing every time you give in to a craving. You just strengthen this behavior of your toddler brain. Every time it thinks that there might be a chance of getting something that will feel good, They will start kicking and screaming and have a full-blown tantrum if you're not listening. So it makes sense. That's why I call it a toddler brain. They are the same, sort of. So what do you do about this? Keep thinking about the toddler because there are so many parallels here. I want you to just loosen up around this topic a little bit because it's very easy to get stuck in your addictive brain and feel like you can't get out of it and there's something wrong with you or whatever. If you just think about it as an innocent little toddler that wants the best for you, but it doesn't understand the world, you will come from a different place. So if we stick with the toddler, if you give in, you're teaching them that this is the way to get what they want, and we don't want that, because then we're always going to have to give them chocolate, or they're going to be on the floor refusing to walk. Life is not going to be easy that way. If you pretend to not hear, I can't hear, or just ignore them, they'll probably get louder for a while until they get exhausted. But over time, being ignored means that the toddler isn't getting their needs met. They feel abandoned and they feel unloved. So this might work for a while in terms of getting the peace and quiet, but as the toddler is growing up, they're most likely to start kickback and doing all the things that gives them temporary pleasure because that is the love that they didn't get from you. Likewise, if you ignore your cravings or you just go and distract yourself, at some point these cravings are going to come back and bite you in the ass. And off you go again. But if you pick up the toddler and you're telling them that you understand how they feel and why they are upset and that there won't be any chocolate at this time. They will still be upset, but they will come to terms with this reality, and eventually they're not going to have tantrums when you go shopping. Eventually they're going to calm down because when you go shopping, even if they have a tantrum, they know that it doesn't lead anywhere. And it's the same with your cravings. If you acknowledge your cravings and you accept that you have cravings, but you're not going to eat as a response anymore, eventually they will not bother you anymore because it's a waste of energy. And if you think about Jeremy, he does not like wasting energy because wasting energy means death. Saving energy means life. So if Jeremy is just wasting his energy, having tantrum after tantrum after tantrum, and it's not leading anywhere, he's going to give up. Because it's not good for survival to do that. So he will start focusing on more lucrative business. And all of a sudden, you don't have as many cravings. It's all logic, but it feels in the moment maybe like that is impossible. I will never get rid of my cravings, but that is not true. Because your toddler brain really does not like wasting energy. Its whole purpose for existing is to conserve energy and increase your survival rate. So whenever you hear the food talking to you, it's not the food, it's Jeremy. And when you have thoughts like, I just need to reward myself, or I need one cookie or one bite, or oh, it's so unfair, everyone else can have it, or whatever it is, it's not you talking, it's always Jeremy. It's always the toddler brain talking. He's just having one of his tantrums, or he's on his way to have a tantrum, and you get to respond to the toddler brain in whatever way you want to. And depending on your response, you will get a certain outcome, as we just discussed. So do you want more cravings? If you do, just give him what he wants. Go and eat. That it's always going to produce more cravings, because now you rewarded him. If you just can't be bothered with it and you don't want to think about it, you just want to ignore it, you go do something else, you can do that. But just know that maybe in a few weeks, maybe in 1 week, maybe in a few months, you're going to be back to where you are right now, and you're going to have to start over again. And it's always really hard to get started. Or do you just want him to shut the fuck up, basically? In which case, show him some love and compassion. I'm being serious here. Show yourself, your brain, some love and compassion. Your brain is doing this for you, to protect you and to make you feel good. because Jeremy can't really conceive of what's actually good for you. He only knows that eating carbs and sugar or whatever it is that you feel like you're addicted to feels good. He cannot think about what will happen in the future if you continue this behavior, because he can only see what is happening right now. And right now it makes you feel really good in this moment when you're doing it. He doesn't quite know what the future is. He can't really conceive of that. He's just busy with making sure that you are surviving the best you can in this moment. That's all he can do. So he's coming from a place of wanting to help you, but he doesn't understand the world. So be a little bit understanding and forgiving when you're dealing with cravings and a brain that reacts this way. Just let him know that you don't want to give in to the cravings. With time, he's going to learn. But you need to come from a place where you allow yourself to hear him and acknowledge that he exists, that he is having these concerns. Let him voice it and be okay with him doing that. And if you don't know how to do that, sign up for my free training and learn the basics of how to just allow these tantrums without eating as a result. It's just a short 5-video training. It will teach you what to do, how to do it, and by the end of the training, if you want a little bit more help from me to create a plan for how to move forward, I'm going to help you do that. And all of that is free. So if you don't know how to actually implement this, go get that course, watch the videos, start implementing it. It's not very hard to do. It just requires you to actually take action and do it. So if you want to sign up for that one, you can go to the link in the description, or you go to www.pimjansson.com/FFF. Don't forget the 3 W's, because when you don't put that into the browser, for some reason it doesn't work. And then people get back to me and say the link doesn't work because they typed it in manually. So just get the W's in there. So that's where you can go and get that. So the next time you have a craving, keep Jeremy in mind. Know that he wants you well. He just does not know what is actually beneficial for you. Okay, I will see you again next week. Bye.